the stratosphere. Looks like there's no place to run. I know that I have a heart that burns like a million stars.
Welcome to Fortnight number 7. Commander Cosmo and Gigi the Giraffe. We are counting down to number 1. And when it gets to 1, it'll be time for our album release show on January 16th at Spreckles Theater in San Diego, California. Commander Cosmo is a song that I actually wrote way back in 2008. That is one of our oldest songs that we have yet to put out there. There's a few more other than just Commander Cosmo, but Commander Cosmo finally made it out. Originally, it was called Commander Walter. It didn't have the same ring to it. It just was not as catchy. But we kind of used that lyric in the song, if you'll remember. We kind of go back and forth a little bit, I believe, if my memory serves. It's gone through so many iterations. Commander Cosmo, what can we say about him? The father of Theodore Walter V. Gosh, this is a long story. 1960s, goes up in space, is an astronaut, and gets into a horrible accident, which is actually Rabbit's blue matter core. Rabbit's blue matter core erupts and causes a lot of calamity. And it actually gives Commander Walter cosmic blue matter powers, transforming him into Commander Cosmo. Commander Cosmo is a pretty interesting character. He has kind of purple-ish, luminescent, crystalline skin / hair. It's not really hair, it's just kind of a hairdo that has taken on the appearance of hair in a crystal form. And he has forged himself a pretty cool set of space armor after years of being a superhero. The whole song is done in the style of Queen's Flash Gordon theme, which is a lot of fun. It has gone through a lot of different iterations over the years. Finally, we pulled it all together. I'm pretty happy with it. It's a hero song, and it was one of our original hero songs. Right after we wrote Captain Albert Alexander, we came up with this one. Well, I did. But I kept it on hold for our space album, which didn't get to be released for a while. So I had a lot of time to think about what needed to change and how could I serve the story. Luckily, I got to keep in some tripods, so that's part of the lore, just a little sneaky little, fought the tripods, yay! Or were they Martians? I don't know. But anyways, same difference. Commander Cosmo does a whole lot of stuff, and he is a superhero for a dozen decades or so, but he gets tired of it. He can't really die, he can't really feel pain, he can't really have a mortal life anymore. It is suggested that he goes back and sees Holly in the art booklet, but we don't really know what that entailed, except that apparently Commander Walter wanted to, well, end it all. He kind of wanted to, what's the way to put this? He wanted to kill himself because having such an existence such as his, it's not very fun, apparently. Well, nothing can kill him. He's tried a bunch of suns, he's tried a lot of things. But he gets a little whisper in his ear. He gets a little whisper of a distant star that is calling to him, and it is in the Vice Quadrant, and it is the Necro Star. Now, little did Commander Cosmo know, all these years he was protecting the Earth from, well, we got Martians, we got Sky Sharks, we got everything that the Necro Star was throwing at us. There's a lot there's like, I can't even remember. There's so many monsters that he fights in the song. Space pterodactyls. Yeah, he has protected us, and he actually goes inside the Necrostar, and this is many, many, many years later. Like he's been doing it for long enough that a lot of people have passed on in his life. It's pretty depressing, but it wasn't enough. We don't know that, but with him and the Necrostar together, and the Necrostar is just burning and consuming Commander Cosmo. We actually find out that that whole star is taken out of its solar system and put into the 8th dimension of absolute and infinite terror, or at least on the edge of it, protected by none other than Jumbo, the space whale. And he guards this sort of burning Commander Cosmo for, well, I don't know, an eternity or two. What happens to Commander Cosmo, we're going to have to find out in another entry. But that sort of sets it up. You got Commander Cosmo, he's our superhero, he protects the Earth from all the Vice Quadrant shenanigans. And his story isn't over, though, of course, if you've heard the album. We'll get back to that. After this kind of depressing end to the song, where he flies into the darkest star in the Vice Quadrant, and all that happens, we get a bit of an intermission. And who best to give us that intermission than Gigi the Giraffe? We kind of debated whether we would put her on this album or not. We thought maybe we'd release it as a single, maybe we'd hold off on the next album, but we felt like we needed that kind of lightheartedness to kind of break up the sort of dreary world of the Vice Quadrant, especially going into Disc 2, which is much more intense and kind of sad. I think it was nice to have like kind of a breather with Gigi's song, and it ends up breaking up the CD in half. Pretty sure. Gigi's song was written by myself and David a couple years ago. And it took a while to actually perform it live, and we had performed it live a dozen times now, probably for about a year or so. And it keeps going through different iterations. We had to basically figure out how we were going to get the puppet there on stage and actually like move her. And that required me to build a lot of upper arm strength and stamina. And I'm still working on it, and we're seeing how far we can push it. And it's a cute little song. And Gigi the Giraffe, she sings about herself. It's totally a great introduction to the character. If MK3 was the introduction to Hatchworth with Hatch Fever, then the Vice Quadrant is an introduction to, well, we used it as the beginnings of Gigi the Giraffe. She's on MK3 on the box art, but she didn't get her own song until her second CD, which was Vice Quadrant. So yeah, these are completely different songs, but a lot of fun. We also wanted Gigi's song to have a kazoo part. So for at our live shows, people who buy our notorious kazooka can kazoo along. So that's really fun. It's a very kid-friendly song. It's the puppet singing. It's bright and colorful. And during live shows, we have Gabby Gonzalez, who did a bunch of the art for us in the past, did a bunch of Gigi drawings. Gigi the Giraffe, she has illustrated her song for you all. So if you get the chance to see us at a live show, you can see Gigi's drawings. Speaking of which, you can see us January 16th at the Spreckles, San Diego, California, and Gigi might be there. And she may be performing her song. So, what are you waiting for? Go to Ticketmaster right now, click the link down in the details, and I will see you all again real soon.